You know, when it's all said and done, Daniel Penny might end up going into the Operation Protect the White Boy Hall of Fame, because outside of Kyle Rittenhouse and maybe a couple of others, this one right here, he definitely deserves his spot there. So the last time we heard about Daniel Penny, he was being paraded around at different sporting events with Trump, and ramen noodles was taking pictures with him. I think JD Vance was there and all types of stuff. Now we're hearing about him again, and this time he got offered a job at an investment firm. And ironically, the investment firm, as you can see by the picture, is ran by a founder who backed Trump in the recent election. Let's go ahead and see what they're talking about. And this is coming from the New York Times. Mr. Penny, who was acquitted after choking a mentally ill subway passenger to death, will work for Andreessen Horowitz. Before the killing, he had been an architecture student. So look, he's about to get streamlined right into there, because guess what? He did a good deed. In their eyes, of course. Daniel Penny, a Marine veteran acquitted on a charge of criminally negligent homicide in Manhattan in December, has been hired by one of Silicon Valley's most prestigious venture capital firms to join its, quote, American Dynamism team. Mr. Penny, a Long Island native and former architecture student, will work in a group that supports American interests, including the aerospace, defense, and manufacturing sectors, according to the website of the company, Andreessen Horowitz. Mr. Penny was charged in 2023 by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office with manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide after a video of him fatally choking another passenger, Jordan Neely, on the subway circulated online that May. We believe in Daniel and are excited to have him as a part of our team, David Ulovich, a partner at the firm, wrote in a memo to employees on Tuesday that was relayed to the New York Times. Mr. Ulovich said in the memo that the firm plans to teach Mr. Penny the, quote, business of investing, and now he will support several of the firm's portfolio companies. On Andreessen Horowitz's website, Mr. Penny is listed as a, quote unquote, deal partner. Now, peep this. Daniel Penny also got a lot of financial support when he did what he did. He got a lot of online support financially. So he was straight just on that. Now he's being shoehorned into this job that has nothing to do with what he went to school for, and he's about to make even more money. Like, listen to what I just read and what position he got. And they're about to shoehorn him in there, and it's no surprise and shock to anybody that the company that hired him also supported Trump or backed him. So this is his reward right here. For him, this is like catching lightning in a bottle. But also, look at who they hired. So that tells you all you need to know about them. And it's also not lost on me with that last name Horowitz. So you already know what time of time that is. That's why I don't let them slide by when they talk about white people versus the Sombrerito, that they're two different groups. I don't do that. Because as you can see, this person, this Andreessen Horowitz guy, definitely falls into both categories. So they can miss me with that. Margit Winmakers, a spokeswoman for the firm, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Thomas Kenneth, Mr. Penny's lawyer during the trial, said that he and his partner Stephen Razor were extremely happy about the news. The unjust prosecution not only put his liberty at jeopardy, but also risked depriving society of a decent and talented young man, Mr. Kenneth said on Tuesday, and we know that he will be going on to do great things as he enters this next chapter of his life. Basically, they didn't want to hinder his future. You know, they got to look out for his future, and all he had to do was what he did, and boom, ticket in the door. I guess you could thank Jordan Neely, unfortunately, for that. Mark Andreessen, the co-founder of the firm, strongly supported President Trump in the last presidential election, saying that the Biden administration had been a hindrance on matters involving cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence. Speaking on the Honestly with Barry Weiss podcast in December, he said that he has spent about half of his time at Mar-a-Lago since Election Day helping President Trump's team. Several members of this firm have been part of the administration's orbit. The hiring of Mr. Penny was first reported by the Free Press, of which Ms. Weiss is a founder. Mr. Penny's manslaughter case divided New Yorkers as well as the nation. He had been on an Uptown F train on the afternoon of May 1st when Mr. Neely, who had struggled with his mental health for years, boarded the car, approaching passengers and shouting about wanting to return to jail and not caring if he lived or died. Mr. Penny approached Mr. Neely from behind and put him in a chokehold, taking him to the floor. Mr. Penny told officers that he had acted to protect the others on the train because he believed that Mr. Neely posed a threat and was poised to kill someone. A 4-minute video recorded by a bystander quickly spread online showing the men struggling on the floor of the subway train. Some people saw the confrontation as emblematic of a broken system that lets vulnerable people slip through the cracks. Mr. Neely had been on the list of people in New York City who stand out for the severity of their mental health troubles and their resistance to accepting help. Mr. Neely had also been arrested more than 36 times, mostly for minor crimes like turnstile jumping or trespassing, but at least 4 times on charge of punching people in a subway systems. For others of what happened on that May afternoon was just the latest in a string of high-profile crimes in the city subway system, many of which homeless and mentally ill people. The episode, they said, was a consequence of the city's inability to keep residents safe. The case quickly became a staple on Fox News, no surprise there, and Mr. Penny was praised as a hero by some. Some is a understatement, because it definitely was most conservatives. In December, jurors deadlocked on the most serious charge Mr. Penny faced, manslaughter, and the charge was dismissed by the judge. Jurors then considered criminally negligent homicide and ultimately acquitted him. After the verdict, Republican figures including Vice President J.D. Vance, Donald Trump Jr., and former Mayor Rudolph W. Giuliani praised the jury and criticized the district attorney Alvin Bragg for pursuing the case. "Thank God justice was done in this case," Mr. Vance said on social media at the time. "It was a scandal Penny was ever prosecuted in the first place." So there you have it, y'all. If this is not the ultimate Operation Protect the White Boy story ever, I don't know what is, because this actually exceeds even some that I've done in the past, as far as them getting in altercation with the cops and the cops not taking them out as if it was a black person. We know what would happen. Them taking them in unscathed, no bruises, no punches, no physical altercations, nothing. This dude right here took out a black man on a train, went to trial, was found found not guilty, acquitted of another thing. He gets praised by political figures. He gets a lot of donations backing him. He practically probably became a millionaire slightly overnight from those donations. And then he lands a job in Silicon Valley working for a capital firm, a venture capital firm whose founder supported Trump. And he gets this cushy job where he's going to make, definitely in that position, 6 figures or more. And it's February. It is February. And I think he got this job like maybe towards the end of January. Mind you, this was about a month and some change after the end of his court hearing. It was in December. Look at how fast they worked for him. They probably had this lined up just in case he was found not guilty. It was probably already lined up. They just probably needed to wait a little bit to make it not look too obvious. Well, to me, it still looks glaringly obvious what was going on. So when I say Operation Protect the White Boy, or in the case when it's Operation Protect the White Woman, this is what I am talking about right here. This is a prime example of that right here.